Welcome to Our View. I am the producer and host, Lorrie Hull Smithers. And because I've had so many calls about our last show when my husband asked people to please vote for Proposition P against fracking, I am going to tell you the times this show is on. The show plays on Monday at 7 a.m., Thursday at 7:30 p.m., Saturday at 5:30 p.m., Sunday at 3:30 a.m. and 11:30 a.m. And the title of this show that is on the internet is SB-Just Between Us. And we have 131 shows up there, including my biography. Now, today, I am so pleased and delighted with our guest, Keith English. Welcome, Keith.
Thank you.
Keith has really made a name for himself with his animation company. But first, Keith, please tell us a little bit about your background. I just met you 2 weeks ago, and I was so impressed that you were from England because my daughter and I have many English students in our acting classes, including right now. And we taught an acting intensive in Soho a year ago, and we just love the Brits. So I thought, well, we love the Brits, so we must love Keith also.
Oh, so that's why you've got me here. I see it now. Okay.
So tell us a little bit about your background.
I was born in London and lived half my life in England and the other half over here now. I think I've been very fortunate. I've had a very lucky life, really. I think I'm good at what I do, but I think a lot of luck plays into doors opening for you.
Yes.
It's whether you go through the doors or not that matters. And I have done a variety of careers. I originally trained as an architect. I went into industrial design. And back in 1995, when I had three really good clients, Disney, Pepsi, and Reebok, one day Reebok said to me, "Can you make it move?" 5 words. And I said yes, but I was lying. I didn't know how to make it move. And so I read it up and found out what to do and did their little animation for them and thought, this is what I want to do.
And you have a wonderful website, and that is listed under your name here. I looked it up, and you have over 100 pictures on there of things you have done. But also you have a daughter, right?
I do have a daughter, yes.
And she went to school in Manchester, England?
Yeah, well, she was raised here and went to Montecito Union, then the junior high, then the high school, and then to my surprise went to Manchester Film School in Manchester, England, yeah.
And that appealed to me because my daughter Diane have taught workshops in England, in Soho, and they come over here to study with us, and one of the students has a farm in Manchester, that area.
There you go.
So we have much in common.
It's a small world.
Now let's start with your first clip that you brought in.
Okay.
And then after the clip, you can talk about it. So let it roll, Mark. Let's see the first clip. I am pleased that you are showing a clip from the first Santa Barbara International Film Festival, because every year we interview someone from that festival, starting the first 2 years with Mike Degree,
Right.
and who was a wonderful, guy, and we miss
I knew
him.
Mike well.
But that was when our show was SB-Just Between Us. And then we also interviewed someone last year on Our View. And I can see where that clip would be very appealing to the youth of the 21st century. I'm a senior citizen, and I found it interesting too. So would you like to tell us anything about that clip?
Yeah, it wasn't the first Santa Barbara Film Festival.
okay.
That was back in 2006.
Okay.
I'd already done 3 film festivals with other people before that here for the film festival, 3 openings. And that clip runs before every movie, every event. Is a way of showing the sponsor names to the audience. And I was asked to do something nobody else was working on. It was going to be the first one I did by myself. And so I wanted to do something that brought film alive, made an inanimate object come alive with emotion from film, which is what I love about film. And so I had a really talented composer who lived here at the time, Mark Henderson, wrote the piece of music for me. I knew very much what I wanted the music to do. I wanted these breaths at the beginning so the camera could move in, and then we'd gradually reveal the mannequin, who I call Manny. In my mind, it was created in an Italian artisan studio. Of course, it's really in my computer, made out of polygons. And then we got the Santa Barbara Symphony to record it for us live.
They're wonderful.
So we did it in parts, actually, and then we put it all together. And then opening night, Roger Derling was very gracious, and he gave me a row at the Arlington, and I took the whole symphony with me. And we all watched it play for the first time.
How nice.
It was very cool.
Now, in one of these, a former acting student of mine who studied with me quite a while, Laura Dern, was honored. It was one of these years when she was their honored guest?
No, she wasn't, actually.
Maybe that was earlier.
Yeah, Jim Cameron was there that year, which is why I put Titanic in it. So I tend, when I do these, I put something in to do with whoever is going to be there. The last one I did was Martin Scorsese, so I had Taxi Driver as part of it. Oh,
the interview with Martin and DiCaprio was wonderful. Yes. Yeah. So now, the last 2 years, we have interviewed Mike Taguchi from the film festival, and we'll probably interview him again in December. I just haven't called yet.
Right.
But it's wonderful to know that this beginning was done by you.
Well, that particular one, as I said, I've actually done 6 of them, I think, in total for the film festival.
Terrific.
Yeah.
So
it's a playtime thing for me, rather than work.
So anything more you want to tell us before we run the second clip?
No, that's...
Okay, Mark, let's run the second clip. is this the one you did for Disney?
Well, it wasn't for Disney, it's for Sonoma Film Festival, but John Lasseter, who made Pixar and who is head of Disney Animation now and Pixar, lives in Sonoma and is very involved in the festival every year.
I see.
And having done the previous one with the mannequin, I was asked if I'd go and do an opening for a tribute. They were doing a tribute to John, and they were bringing in all the main people from Pixar and all the main people from Disney, and would I do an animation for them, which I have to say, I thought, my goodness, what am I going to do? I've got, you know, the leading people in the world who've got technology way beyond what I can do. What am I going to do for this?
Disney.
Would Pixar, Pixar really, you know, have driven the world in terms of where animation's gone with the 3D characters like I used.
Terrific! I can see that on your website.
Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So I did. At that time, Sonoma Film Festival, which I still do every year for them, actually. Their festival was, every event you went to was film, food, and wine, which I thought was brilliant as a concept, and they called it Cinema Epicuria. And so I decided to bring a kitchen to life and all the vegetables and the, and that's what I did. And something I did different in this one, which I've used since. Again, normally we put all the credits for the sponsors at the end, and I thought, let me hide them in the middle of this one, and that way we sort of make it more interesting because there's something to come after you've sat through the sponsors. So that was the piece I did.
Well, it is very interesting. Now, I want you to tell me a little bit about your third clip before we play it, because this is one you did for Michael Jackson's last show. And how did they happen to find you, and what did you do before we show this? Can you tell us?
Yeah. I previously worked on Sam Raimi, if you know Sam Raimi, who did all the Spider-Man movies and Evil Dead, and I did a horror movie for him, and actually the person who headed up all the visual effects on that, when we went to the premiere at Grumman's Chinese Theatre, pulled me aside and said, I've got something else I want you to work on.
Was this Michael Jackson or a representative?
No, this is actually the visual effects supervisor.
For Michael Jackson.
Who ended up directing all the visual effects for the stage show.
I see.
And so they pulled me in to do a few different parts. One of them was Thriller, a new part of a new opening for Thriller. And the second one was Smooth Criminal. I did some of the Smooth Criminal pieces. And behind Michael on the stage was going to be, or was, a 100-foot wide by 30-foot high polarized screen. And everything we did was shot in 3D, stereo 3D, so it would come off of the screen. And the whole audience would have been sitting there with glasses on. And so my bat, which you're going to see in this clip, the main bat which comes to screen, was actually 93 feet wide on the screen and out over the audience. He would have been in front of your head. I see. So yeah, it was actually a very fun project. I went down there for the shoot on the day that they actually did the shoot for it in Culver Studios down in LA. They had two massive sound stages. One was filled with crew. There must have been 100 crew members in that, and the other stage was a graveyard. They brought all the earth and everything in. They built a complete graveyard in the other sound stage, and so I had to match my bats coming out of these crypts to the background and the movement of the camera, because the camera was moving all the time. So it's only a 15-second clip, but it went into the movie. It was reduced in the movie even, but it should have been part of the show had it gone forward, which unfortunately it didn't.
So let's look at the clip.
Okay.
Okay, Mark, the third clip.
Something evil's lurking in the dark.
So,
terrific. That should have been part of it.
Yeah, so at the beginning of that, you see the green screen, which is actually how it was shot. And then we actually see the bats.
I think I told you that at one time in my youth acting classes, I taught Jermaine's two children, along with his wife Hazel, who was Barry Gordy's the daughter, Barry Gordy the third, I think it was, Dawn and Jermaine Jr. and we gave a show, plays, and I swear the whole Jackson family came to see it, everyone except Michael. They filled practically our auditorium. So they're very supportive of each other.
Yeah, I think it
Yes.
was. I mean, one of the things that surprised me, Culver Studios is surrounded by this massive wall, and there are a lot of sound stages there, and we won these 2 big sound stages, which I think they did Gone with the Wind in them actually. But when I went outside at one point, on the other side of this massive wall, right outside the soundstage where we were, nobody could see us at all, were kids calling out Michael's name continuously. And I'm like, how do they know where we are even? Because it's a big lot, you know.
Was this when he was still alive?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yes,
This is when we were doing the show. Down in LA. So where it was shot, it was all the shooting was done down there at Culver Studios, which used to be the Sony Studios, where they actually did Gone with the Wind. So.
He was such a massive talent, my goodness, so talented.
I think it's sort of a shame that he became bigger after he died than when he was alive in the end.
I think so too.
But yeah.
And you know, Santa Barbara did not treat him too well when they had that lawsuit against him.
I don't know that it was the whole of Santa Barbara. I think it was
the guy who is now the editor of the News Press called me and asked me about acting, and I said, I think Michael is innocent. And he printed my interview in the paper. And then on one of our shows, I said, I think Michael is innocent. So his cousin, I think, who lives here, called me and said, I want to study acting with you because you stood up for Michael.
I think Michael just
was such a bad thing.
I think he just really didn't have a chance to have a childhood, and he always loved that part that he never actually had.
And his children just loved him, you know. Right.
He used to take him down to the studios for the shoots.
Okay, now back to Pixel and your group. Anything else you want to tell us about your company? I know you have 100 pictures up, which I printed out. Oh, excuse me. 100 pictures up on the website. And I wonder, is there any special area you would like to discuss?
No, not really. I mean, I think I've been very lucky because I have done everything from features to City TV. I do work for them down at City TV. I've done visual effects. I've done medical. I've done caricatures. And so if you look at the site, it's a vast range of work, which I only just pulled together for the first time. So that's really 20 years of work that I assembled there to look at and said, wow, did I do all that? It sort of shocked me a bit.
That you have up there.
Yeah, I think there's 135 samples. I think there are 75 projects.
Yes.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff up there. But it's very fulfilling to be able to look at it all and say, wow, that's actually what I've done.
Yeah, I find that also about our website, SB-Just Between Us. I'm amazed we have over 130 shows up.
Wow. Amazing.
You know, our best shows. And our view is going up soon.
131.
131 we have.
This show.
Oh.
Won't this go on? So it'll
we
be
have
131.
about the same amount up. And this show, I hope, will be going on streaming soon, along with some others from our view. Matt has promised me he's going to put them up, so you will eventually get this.
Excellent.
On streaming. Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell us or ask me?
No, I think I think animation's an amazing business, and it's become very much a big part of the industry now. In some ways, I think that's sort of sad because I love story, and I think they've replaced story a great deal now with visual effects.
Yes.
So I'm more focusing now on the storytelling side of animation with characters than the visual effects side,
Now, and there are a lot of schools that are teaching animation. My grandson graduated from Cal Arts as a composer, but I noticed they have a big film animation department, which they also teach there at Cal Arts, which was started by Disney.
It was funded by Disney, yeah.
Right,
and almost without exception, everybody at Pixar came from Cal Arts.
Oh, really?
Almost everyone I've ever met came from Cal Arts.
Well, we thought it was
including Lasseter. Yeah.
We thought it was a very fine school for my grandson to
attend. I think it's an amazing school, and they make you work really hard there.
Yes.
Yeah, it's not a party school at all.
Right, it's down to business.
Yeah, very serious school. I actually never went to college. I've never been taught animation. But I've actually taught at Stanford and UT Austin, and which I think is sort of ironic.
Oh, Stanford is very prestigious.
But it's something that I think anyone can learn to do, as I did, and very fulfilling because you can create your own worlds.
And I notice on your website you also thank your brother for helping you.
He did. He's been doing some sound for me, and he actually put the website together for me.
I see.
So yeah, it's a massive website.
Oh, it's a wonderful website.
Yeah.
It's just, and anyone can go to any kind of a picture they want.
Yeah, you can sort by category, which is clever because it reduces the number of things you're looking at. He's over in England, so we actually did it at a distance, but I thought he did a nice job.
That's good. My website comes up on our station too on the picture, and I'm pleased my grandson is my webmaster and did it for me.
Very good.
Because people like you and me and our age, we sometimes are not, I'm not too adept at doing things on the internet. I get very confused, you know. So I'm always grateful that people will do it for me, like my grandson's my webmaster.
Right, I live on computers all day long,
so
I can't build websites, so it's
right. Now we only have 4 minutes left. Is there anything that you especially would like to tell us or ask me?
Is there anything you'd like to ask me?
Well, I have lived in Santa Barbara for quite a while.
20 years now, yes.
20 years.
Yeah.
And you also have offices in Los Angeles?
We do work down there and up in San Jose as well. And actually we cloud animate, so we use people all over the world. I've been working a lot with Lithuania recently, and India and England, and so we have animators all over the world that we use, and just bring them in as we get bigger projects. We bring in more animators to use. Yeah.
And you have the one child, the daughter, who went
My
to
daughter
school?
Chantal, who's in Hawaii right now, she just landed, and but yes, she went to film school in England, as we said, and
in Manchester.
In Manchester, yeah. Although he's not in the business now, which is probably good. Although I think the business is changing, so it might become a little more exciting now. With Netflix have raised the bar, and HBO is going streaming now, streaming service, and Time Warner. And so I think there's a lot of changes ahead in the film industry. Sort of like 1920s when the cinemas came and they needed more content.
So I think I am so pleased that you're telling us all about this. We now have 3 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
So
well, let me talk a little bit about what I think is now changing. Which is that Netflix went out and started their own productions, and with House of Cards, which was an amazing production.
We get that,
award-winning,
and we enjoy Netflix very much.
And because of their success, now HBO is going to do it, Time Warner's going to do it, and now the regular stations are talking about doing it as well. And I think that is going to change the business model. It's going to change distribution, and it's going to mean a lot more content is needed, because in 1920s, when the cinemas started, they had all the cinemas, but they didn't have enough content. So the studios grew, and I think we're at that sort of stage with streaming now. So we may be on the verge of a big new model change.
I think that's terrific.
Yeah.
And just to remind people, this show will be on for a month, starting the end of October. And I also would like to remind people to please vote yes on Proposition P to save our planet. My last show was done by my husband, William Smithers, an entire show on that, which some of you are seeing now. And you can see this show 5 times on TVSB Channel 17. Sunday at 11:30 a.m., and also it's on earlier at 3:30 a.m., Monday at 7 a.m., Thursday at 7:30 p.m., and I think there's another time that I've missed here. And you can also see everything that Mr. English, Keith English, animation company is doing, and My website is methodactingclassesla.com. And Keith, tell your website now.
Is screamingpixels.com.
Right, we both have websites.
Yep.
And I think that ends our show, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
And I wish you well in all your future endeavors,
And you.
which are tremendous.